Michelle, and today I'm going to be doing a product review video for you guys from Arteza. And the wonderful thing I learned about Arteza is they not only carry art supplies, but they also carry quilting supplies. I was so excited to learn that because I have always loved sewing. I've dabbled a little bit in quilting, and I really want to get a little deeper into quilting, and I love this set that I got from Arteza. I couldn't fit all of my cutting mat into the frame here. It's 24 inches this way and 36 inches this way. If you guys can see, I'll slide it around to try to show you guys the rest of it here. And it is reversible. On the other side is more of a portrait orientation that you would be viewing from here, and that way your angles are going that way. But I'm going to leave it this way so that I can fit the most of it in my screen for you guys that I possibly can, and show you guys what else came with this set. If you love sewing or quilting or both, you're going to love this set. First of all, there is the self-healing cutting mat. It is a huge 24 by 36 inch size. It also comes with all of your fabric rulers. This doesn't all fit into the screen either. It's 6 inches by 24 inches, which is great for making those fabric cuts when you're cutting strips or something long like that. You also get a 9.5 by 9.5. This is great for quilt blocks and for your smaller measurements and your little squares. There is a 6 by 6. You get all three of these in the set. You also get a pack of 48 of the non-slip adhesive rings. And I'm not going to put those on today, but I'll just pull those out and show you guys what comes in this set. And you can see there, they're just rubbery non-slip rings that you can put onto the back side of your rulers, and that'll keep it from sliding around on your fabric when you're trying to use that to cut against. And you also get the 45mm rotary cutter and 3 blades to go along with it. And I cheated and cut the packaging open ahead of time so I could get that out and show you guys how to safely put the blade in. This is your little plastic case that you get with all 3 of the blades in there, and I think that is wonderful. It's protective. It keeps these from being in a situation where someone might get cut on them. And there are 3 blades in there. I'm going to take one out. Always handle very, very carefully. These are very sharp blades. Okay, so what you want to do is have your rotary cutter in the closed position, which is with your plastic guard up. You can pull that down, which removes it out of the way of your blade so you can cut later on. But to put the blade on, you want it up in the closed position. And I'm just going to hold my finger against the head of this bolt here and unscrew the nut on the back side. Remove that nut and the washer from the back. And then from the front, I'm going to remove the bolt and the washer from that. And then I'm going to take my blade very carefully, lining up the holes. Again, making sure that your blade is in the upward position because that protects your fingers from the edge of the blade. That way you hit only against the guard and not the blade. We're going to put the bolt and that plastic washer back in through the center of both of those. Turn it back over. Put your washer and the nut back on the same way that you took them off. And tighten that up. Just finger tight is good enough. The important thing is just making sure that that safety guard is in the closed position the whole time that you're doing that. And then once that's assembled, you can lower that guard, and that exposes the cutting edge of your rotary blade up there so that you can make cuts. But always remember to make sure to keep that in the closed position every time you lay that down. So I have a scrap piece of fabric here that I brought out so that I can show you guys, and we can try out that rotary cutter and see how well it cuts. I'm just going to line that up with one of the lines here on my mat and make sure to smooth it all out. And then I'm actually going to bring that down a little more on my mat so that all of my fabric is on the mat so that I can go through with one motion with my rotary cutter to cut that. Okay, so let's try this out. I've got my folded edge of the fabric lined up along a line on my grid mat here, and I'm just going to line up my 6x24 ruler with the edge of that, and then I can make the cut, bring down the guard on my rotary cutter, put the blade right up against the edge of my ruler, and press and roll. And see how sharp that is? That worked wonderfully. Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time because I actually should have lined up my ruler with one of the lines here on my mat. Make sure to hold your ruler down firmly, and I'm keeping part of my hand off of the edge so that I don't slide my ruler around. I didn't put those non-slip rings on there, but when I do, that's going to help out a lot. And make sure that you keep the edge of your rotary blade up against your ruler, and anytime you can, go through in one straight motion without stopping. And there we have a nice clean edge, and it makes a nice perpendicular with our fold here so that our strips are going to be straight. And what you can do, if you have your straight edge over here, you can line the edge of your ruler up, or you can see through to line up, say, your 2-inch mark here if you wanted to do 2-inch strips, but I don't have a straight edge on my fabric on this side. Or, like I'm doing, I cut it even with a line on my mat, so I can line my ruler back up with a line on my mat again, and make sure that that is a 2-inch measurement there. Hold my ruler down firmly, somewhere in the middle, not at either end. It can kind of pivot on you if you do that. And I did a no-no. I laid my blade down without the safety guard up. Always remember, I'm going to try really hard to keep that in my mind, to keep that safety guard on when it's laying down. So then reveal your blade there, and again, one swift motion, keeping your blade up against the edge of your ruler. And there you have a 2-inch strip. And I think that is awesome. I love this set. I can't wait to do more sewing and quilting. And again, what I'm going to do here, we're going to test out how many layers. Whoops, there I go again. Always keep that closed. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. Making sure that edge lines up with the edge before. And again, line up that corner on the lines of my mat. So now we have it folded 4 layers thick, and let's see what we can do with that. So again, I'm going to do 2 inches. Let's do 2.5. I like 2.5. That's a good size for bindings. And I'm so happy to be starting out in experimenting with some quilting and to have this wonderful set to get started with. I'm not really brave enough to start out straight with a quilt. I did that once and I made a lot of mistakes on a very large project that I wasn't really ready for. I think I want to start out with maybe some placemats, oven mitts, things of that nature on a smaller scale, and then I can work my way up to a quilt later on. So I'm going to expose my blade, and let's see how this does on 4 layers. Perfectly smooth. That was perfectly smooth. So I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to double that over again. And we're going to see what we can do with 8 layers. That's pushing it a little bit, I know, but we're going to try out this set and see what it can do for us. So again, I'm going to go 2.5 inches. And let's give it a try. And it even cut through 8 layers with no problem whatsoever. So, since it's a product review and we're pushing it to the limits, we're going to see just how much this rotary blade can do. Now this is 16 layers thick. And I'm going to cut my last strip. It's so thick that I can't hardly get my edge of my ruler to the mat. And there I went again, you guys. That is a habit that I'm really going to have to work on with that blade. I had my other ruler underneath the edge of that one. Okay, here we go. 16 layers. And still no problem. So I really don't want to push it any farther than that. I think that a blade that'll cut through 16 layers of fabric is going to do anything that I need it to do. And again, I'm going to put my blade in the safety position before I lay that down. And you guys, I just want you to know that I absolutely love this quilting set from Arteza. I was so happy that they gave me the opportunity to test this out for you guys, and I cannot wait to get started with some sewing and quilting projects and use this set. And I just love this rotary cutter. I have, like I said, done some sewing and a little bit of quilting projects in the past, but I have never had a rotary cutter. And that just makes for absolutely precise cuts. I just love that. That is a cut I could never make with a pair of scissors. I love this rotary cutter, and it is super, super sharp. So I will leave a link below to where you guys can get this set. Actually, I'll go ahead and link a few other sets as well. You can get this in smaller sets. You don't have to get the big giant 24 by 36. I thought for fabric cuts this would be great, but they have smaller ones and smaller rulers. Whatever you may need, if you just want a smaller work area for working on small quilt squares and things like that, they have those too. I'll go ahead and link this one first, and then a few subsequent sets, and maybe even just this rotary trimmer on its own. I'm so impressed with that rotary trimmer. I love this set, you guys. If you want to get one, or one of the smaller ones like it, check the links down below. And let me know if you guys would like to see some sewing or quilting projects. It's something I've never done on my channel before, but it's a craft that I really love, and I enjoy doing a lot of sewing and everything in my personal life. I have loved sewing since I took it in home ec class my freshman year of high school. So let me know if you guys would like to see some sewing projects, and maybe even a few videos along the way as I try some quilting projects. I'm not sure. I'm not very confident in that area at this point, but I really want to give it a try. So check out those links below for the quilting sets that I'm going to include there, and I'll make sure to also include just a general link to Arteza's website in case you want to check out some of their wonderful art supplies and craft supplies. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a like over on my Facebook page, and be sure to join our Facebook group, Craftie Minds. Also follow me on Pinterest and Instagram, and don't forget to visit my blog. I'll have the links to everything in the description below, so be sure and check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.